725 here at Big 550 KTRS. We woke up to the news that there were 4 murders overnight. Another victim died, making it 5. And then, of course, you had this 5th murder, Tucker at Shodo, being a total of 6. Anthony Kiekow from Fox 2 News has been covering it all morning long. Anthony, welcome to the show. Anthony, are you there? One more time. Anthony, can you hear me?
Yep, it was a little bad connection before, but I can hear you fine now.
Okay, great. Now, were you at this police news conference, or where are we with that?
Yeah, we just finished up the police news conference with Chief Sam Dotson and also some homicide detectives talking about these murders. As you mentioned, there were 4 initially, but now that number has actually jumped to 6 murders just since 7 p.m. Yesterday. So it's bringing our total just for this year all the way up to 8 murders already at this point in January.
The details on this Tucker and Shodo are I don't know a whole lot about that since that just happened. What's the quick story on that Tucker and Shodo murder?
Well, police are still gathering information, but they do believe that this was the result of a domestic issue. They also believe that they know who the person responsible is and that it wasn't connected to any of the other murders. But again, just as in all these other murders, there's no suspects who are in custody at this point. So all these people are still out on the street.
Yeah. Now, there were, as we said, 6 murders, but there were 5 incidents last night because 2 people were murdered in that same area, correct?
Yep, that was the one on Osage and Arkansas where 2 people were shot. One victim was immediately pronounced dead. The second person was taken to the hospital and was in critical condition until just about 2 hours ago. That's when police got the word that that person had also died from that gunshot wound they suffered.
Then there was a home invasion last night in North County. There was then a shooting on Bandero, right by 55 and River de Pere. What was that story?
Well, that one also was an incident where there was just one person who was near an apartment complex at that point, and homicide detectives were quickly on the scene there, but at this point they have no idea what the motive was for that, or no suspects again in that situation either. And
then the last one was, of course, the Drury Plaza Hotel right there on Hampton and 44. Anthony, you were out there all morning long. What's the latest from there?
Yeah, that one just definitely a brutal murder scene. What police are saying is basically that some man came up to the door of the Drury Inn, and you need to buzz the person in for them to get inside of the hotel. And the manager did buzz that person in, thinking that they were a customer. At that point, the suspect demanded money. When the manager didn't comply, there was a little bit of a scuffle, and then that suspect ended up shooting the manager in the head, and that was a 50-year-old man who died as a result of those injuries. It's unclear if that suspect even got away with any money, but he quickly left the scene in a black Honda, and again, person still on the loose.
Police said this morning that there was a manhunt going on for that Drury Plaza shooting. Do we have any more information on that?
Yeah, they have a little bit of details. They have released some surveillance video and surveillance pictures that you may be able to find on our website, fox2now.com. If you guys don't have it up on your website yet, but I can just describe a little bit. The suspect is a black male. He's in his 40s, medium build. Some pretty good video and pictures. He's wearing a Chicago Bulls ball hat, also a black or brown leather waist-length coat, and a black Adidas shirt and some long khaki color pants, and then again he was in a black Honda that raced away from that scene after the shooting. And when you look at these pictures, you can get a pretty good look at this person's face. So obviously police are asking anyone with any information to call them and try to get this guy off the street.
This news conference that you just attended earlier this morning, I guess it just ended a few moments ago with Chief Dotson. It was long on particulars, but did he mention anything about the violence of it all happening so fast, so furious? 6 murders all in less than a 12-hour period. Did he address that at all?
Well, definitely. He definitely called it unacceptable and said that he had all of his officers and various units in today, and they were going to be meeting just in the next few moments to try to figure out the next steps and getting all these people off the streets. But some of the big points or key points that he mentioned that he wanted to make as far as the larger issue with this is just the accessibility of guns for criminals and the idea of these criminals being arrested for gun-related crimes, but then being able to get back out on the streets shortly after. So he definitely called our lawmakers and our courts, called on them to make some changes to maybe change what's going on. That's obviously where he points some of the responsibility for what we see going on.
Yeah, many of these seems to be, at least initially, whether it was the domestic dispute at Tucker and Shoto, but the Drury Plaza clearly is a robbery that has gone bad, very similar to the young college kid who was killed outside of the city museum, which was a robbery gone bad because they were going for the purse into the car. As you mentioned, 8 murders so far this year. Did Chief Dotson talk at all about what a terrible start to 2015 it's been?
Well, he didn't really mention it that way, but you could tell just by the look on his face how frustrated he was to get this year started this way. I mean, there were a lot of calls toward the end of last year on the police department regarding the 159 murders that we had last year. So a lot of concern that, we don't reach that number again this year, and this is definitely not the way that they wanted to start this year out.
Yeah. Anthony Kiekow is with Fox 2 News, and he was at the Drury Plaza all morning long, and then you were at that news conference that finished just moments ago. Anthony, great job. Thanks for checking in. Talk to you soon.
Thanks.
You got it. 9:32 here, Big 550 KTRS. We'll come back. We'll take a couple phone calls. 314-969-KTRS, 1-888-550-KTRS, or star KTRS. 6 murders overnight and early this morning, and piecing them all together. Not to, certainly don't want to cause more alarm than there should be, but after the shooting of the college kid, after the police shooting in Des Peres in front of the Edward Jones Dome the other day, on top of the 6 murders recently, on top of the shooting that went on in Franklin County the other day, it seems like we have started 2016 or 2015 with a violent start to a new year. Certainly not what anybody wants, but it's the where and the how. 44 in Hampton is as Kelly Jackson's been saying all morning long, is a major thoroughfare. That's a major intersection in South City. It's the entrance to the Hill. It's 44 in Hampton. It's right there. It's the entrance to all sorts of places, from Dogtown to Clifton Heights to the Shaw neighborhood.
And it's very easy to get away from, too.
Well, that's a good point, too.
You can jump right on 44. You can jump right on all those major thoroughfares right there, and suddenly you're into the woods. You're gone.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That Hampton sort of splits off into Watson, and then you can sort of use that Chippewa from there. So it's a good point. You have many different directions from there. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to go take some phone calls. But a devastating night in St. Louis overnight. And it's not just a Chief Dotson news conference, right? This is a Mayor Slay news conference. This is something that I don't think you can just explain away as too many guns on the streets. This is part of, as we were talking about yesterday, this is a larger problem. This is a larger issue. This is a larger conversation. You're talking about too many guns on the streets. Well, there's a citizen out there who's saying, wait a minute, you want me to take my gun now that these people are being shot in broad daylight, these people are being shot while working on their job, now you want me to take my gun away from me because it's not safe? So that brings up a whole other, once you start talking about gun control and gun safety and too many guns on the streets, there's 2 sides to that story.